My name is Amina Gloria Irankunda. I'm going to present about the creation and recreation of Venus. About the outline of this presentation, I'm going to talk about the introduction, overview of Titian, overview of Manet, description of Titian's Venus of Albino, description of Manet's Olympia. I'm going to compare and contrast the paintings. I'm going to discuss about the historical and cultural context of both paintings, that of Venus of Albino and Manet's Olympia. And after that, I'm going to conclude and show the references where I got the information. The introduction says that it's all about interpretation of two paintings, and I'm going to explain the overview of the painters, Manet and Titian, and I'm going to talk about the subject matter and the style of the paintings of those painters. I'm going to show the differences and similarities of those paintings and tell you more about the historical background of the paintings. About the overview of Manet, of Titian. Titian is a Venetian artist of the 16th century. This Titian contributed a lot in the areas of Renaissance art. Renaissance is it's when they were changing the direction in most of the fields like political scientists, and this Titian played the role in Renaissance of art. This Titian got trained through collaboration with Giovan and Giorgione. These two people collaborated with this man Titian so that for him to get trained in the arts and paintings. This Titian could paint the altar pieces, like he could paint those things to put on the altar in the churches, and he became famous of his portraits like Emperor Charles V and Pope Paul III. These are the paintings he painted, and those paintings were liked by many people and they made him become famous. Also, he painted works with mythological subjects. Like these are the subjects which like come from the ideas where you come with an idea and then you paint something, and those are the subjects where he could paint those works of those paintings. About the overview of Manet, he is the eldest son of official in French Ministry of Justice. This was one of the parents of Manet, and he was an official in French Ministry of Justice. And for Manet, he had dreams of becoming a naval officer. He didn't have a dream of becoming a painter or an artist. He just wanted to become a naval officer, and unfortunately he failed school entrance exams like twice. He after failing those exams, then went to Paris to pursue a career of arts, and that's when he started doing arts, and he was motivated by the award he got in 1861. It was an award where he painted a good painting, and then he was awarded an award which motivated him to continue that career of art. About the description of Titian's Venus of Albino, the style of this picture, as you're seeing it, it's idealism. Idealism, it's like it, as you can hear, that name of the style, it comes from like the word idea. Like in this picture, as you can see, it's not something real. It didn't happen. It was just as an idea, because this Titian worked in those time of Renaissance, where they were changing the direction, and he had to contribute and come up with an idea of how they can like draw in modern. And you can see the drawing, it's something like an idea. As you can see, the colors and everything that is there, it's something that he wanted to innovate. Something, it was an idea of the how they can change the direction in arts. And the subject matter of this this picture, it's goddess Venus. Goddess Venus was the Venus is a woman whose functions was composed of love, beauty, desire, sex, fertility, prosperity, and victory. As you can see, that woman and that picture, there are many things which really shows how that goddess Venus was. Um, you can see those flowers. Those flowers, they are the flowers like in Italy. The ones who were having like those flowers, those of goddess Venus. That woman they're talking about, who is composed of love and beauty and prosperity, fertility, and um, prosperity and victory. Uh, you can see like that berry could represent fertility. It's a sign of fertility woman, and that was also a function of goddess Venus. um, like those breasts of that woman on the picture, they also represent like beauty and love. And that was also representing like the function of the goddess Venus. And you can see that that dog that dog is also representing fidelity. Fidelity, yeah, it's like being faithful. Like that woman should was supposed to like to sleep with only one man, as it, like she had to be faithful to like to her man. And uh, the description of Manet's Olympia, like the style of that picture is realism. As you can see the picture, the colors of the picture, like and its appearance, it shows that the things are for real. This is the time Manet was drawing this picture, in the time of realism, where they could draw real things and paint real things. And that's why this is realism, because everything that is in the picture, it seems to be for real. The subject matter of this picture is prostitution, and you can actually see the reason why this subject matter is for prostitution. As you can see, there is a maid having flowers, and those flowers, uh, that maid is bringing them to that naked woman who is sleeping there. Uh, there is also a black cat there, which it's like a sign of prostitution. Also, there is that naked woman whom the maid is bringing the flowers to. And it seems like the maid was bringing flowers to that prostitute, and those flowers are from they can be from the client who was like awarding the prostitute those flowers. This is a sign of prostitution. And as you can see that woman, how she is naked, you can even uh, it, imagine how she is a prostitute. So that is the reason why the subject matter of this picture is prostitution. About the similarities of this painting, uh, like these paintings, like they both show the naked woman, like the one for Venus of Albino, and the one for Olympia. They all show the naked women. They show like the private parts of the woman, and how the woman, like how the shape of a woman when it's naked, and they can both have the expressive content of prostitution. As you have seen, like everyone who can see those pictures, for once he or she can imagine about prostitution, like because of seeing like naked women, like they are nude, they're not wearing anything. It seems like they can lead to sexuality, and that's why they both express sexuality and prostitution in the pictures. The differences of these paintings, uh, the one for Venus of Albino, it has the style of idealism, like it was an idea of changing, like in time of Renaissance, it was an idea of how they can change, they can be the like it was a new direction in the of the time of their time, the modern way of drawing. And for that one of Olympia, it's a style of realism. Those are things for real, they really happen, and they are like, it was not an idea, it was not something that didn't happen, it's something for real. uh, Another difference is that the Venus of Albino was painted by Titian, and and Olympia was also painted by Edward Monet. Mm, it Another thing is that the different like Venus of Albino has the subject matter of goddess Venus, as you know, like goddess Venus is a is is a woman whose functions are composed of love, beauty, desire, sex, fertility, prosperity, and victory. And um, that one of Olympia, its subject matter is prostitution. The prostitute being given flowers for have played sex with someone, and that is the subject matter of the painting. Uh, about the historical and cultural context of both paintings, Venus of Albino was painted in 1538, and that is the time when Titian painted this uh, picture, and he painted it using good-looking colors, and because it was the time of like bringing the innovation and showing the direction, coming with an idea of how they can change, he used good-looking colors so that that innovation can be allowed. He also he was motivated by motivated by Renaissance. For him to draw those colors, it's because it was like the time of Renaissance. He was motivated by that time to draw, for him to draw that um good looking picture, and that Venus of Albino, he was motivated by that time, and he came up with that picture of Venus of Albino. Uh, for Olympia, the picture of Manet, for him it was painted in 19th century in 1865. For him, he was motivated by the time of realism. This time they were like they could draw real things. They were supposed to draw like real things, coming up with don't bringing innovations in what they are drawing or bring their new ideas. They could draw like things for real, and that was the thing that motivated him. They also have a subject of modern here. He also like used modernization in his drawing, and because drawing someone who is naked, it was not something like very usual in there, like in that time. And because of that modern time, he was like motivated to draw a nude woman, like a prostitute, because he knew that prostitutes are, are for real, they are real there, they happen. So he had a subject of modern, which motivated him to draw a nude woman in a picture. As a conclusion, the paintings were made in different centuries, where one was made in 19th century, and another one was made in 16th century. They are all done in different by different painters, where one is done by Titian and another one is done by Manet. They have different styles. One is idealism and another one is realism, and the subject matters also are different, where one is about prostitution and another one is about goddess Venus. Thank you so much for your attention. Here are the references where the information was from, and thank you so much.